Welcome to Priceless Takes.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 22 of Priceless Takes. We are live from South Carolina in the United States. My name is Luca Price. I am your host. Once again, today we have two amazing guests joining us back on the show after a week's wait. Unfortunately, I had some Wi-Fi issues, which was prohibiting me from filming, and we're happy to have them back. But we have Tyson McMullen and Oscar Hardcastle back with us today. Boys, how are you doing?
Good,
Couldn't be
thank
better.
you.
Listen, to the audience, we were hoping to get this episode aired out before the All-Star break, but unfortunately we had some technical difficulties from my end. But overall, the All-Star weekend had some highs and we had some lows. I think all three of us are in agreement that Mac McClung absolutely showed out in that dunk contest. It was really good to see that happening, and we saw Tatum go for 55. But overall, I didn't think the All-Star game was very entertaining, and I think the ratings would agree with me. The NBA All-Star game, the ratings were down 25% from last year's viewings. I think it didn't help when Steph Curry wasn't playing. I think everyone wants to see him playing. LeBron also got injured, and Durant wasn't playing either. So, yeah, not
Giannis
the most
played
exciting.
20 seconds.
Yeah, that too. So a lot of stars weren't playing in the game, but we have some NBA content to get in for you today. We have a lot to get through. We got MVP talk. We got championship predictions talk. We got NBA standings talk, and we're going to get into some hot debates here, but we will get right into it, guys. So before the All-Star break, we got the latest MVP ladder, and it has yet to be updated as we are only one night into the regular season games post the All-Star break. But in order, we have Nikola Jokic at 1, Giannis Antetokounmpo at 2, Joel Embiid at 3, Jason Tatum at 4, and Luka Doncic at 5. Now, Jokic leads the mark, averaging 24, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 1.3 steals, and nearly a block, 63% field goal shooting, 40% shooting on the three, and 82% from the free throw, while having the best record in the West and nearly the best record in the NBA. But there is a lot of talk. Giannis averaging 32, 12, and 5, 53% shooting. Embiid averaging 33, 10, and 4, a steal and a block, both right behind him. Jason Tatum and Doncic aren't out of it yet either. But right now, Nikola Jokic has been the MVP frontrunner for the large part of this season. I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think is going to win MVP? Do you think it's Jokic? Do you think it's someone else? If you do think it's someone else, why do you think someone else is more deserving over Jokic? Tyson, I'll hear from you first on this topic.
Okay, there's difference between who do I think and who do I want.
Same, yeah.
Who do I
Agreed.
think's gonna win? Jokic. It's all there. Best team in his conference. His numbers are quite insane. Good efficiency, percentages all there.
The NBA rides him.
NBA loves him. I just don't see how he won't win 3 in a row. But who do I want to win? I want someone else but Jokic. At this rate, I want Giannis. I would love Tatum, but he's fallen a bit behind. But at this rate, I want Giannis to win. Just anyone but Jokic, in my opinion. Just spice it up a bit. That's all.
Yeah, right. So I kind of agree with you from the standpoint I think Jokic should win it, but I think that's a lot to do with the second-level stats and the narrative. I don't think he should win MVP, but before I get into my take, I want to hear, Oscar, who do you have taking out the award?
I think Jokic will win it. I think that it's just so set up for him to win it. He's got the numbers, he's got the record. I think he will win it. Who I want to win it is Embiid. I love Embiid. He's so entertaining when he's out there. He's like maybe the most entertaining person to watch on this list, just from a viewer's standpoint watching the game. He's so entertaining. He blocks, he starts fights, he talks trash. I don't know. I want Embiid to win it, and he's got the numbers to back it up, but just Jokic is off the charts. So I think Jokic will take it out. But Embiid deserves it. I think after 3 years of absolute dominance in the NBA, I think he deserves it.
One thing's for sure is even though Embiid and Jokic are going head-to-head, I mean, Embiid's gotten further in the playoffs than Jokic has the past 2 years. So that's
Yeah,
something that I find interesting. But I hate to
not that
agree
far
with
though.
you, and I hate to agree with you guys. I do think, based on the storyline the NBA is putting out, Nikola Jokic will win MVP. But personally, I think this is absolutely egregious that he's going to win MVP for the simple reason that this year, Luka Doncic is averaging 33, 9, and 8. Okay.
Crazy
Jokic is averaging 24, 11.5, and 10. Now, I understand the record, right? Jokic, 41 and 18, first in the West in his conference. Doncic, 31 and 29, sixth in the West in their conference. But statistically, Doncic has 9 more points average per game. He's only averaging 2.5 less rebounds and 2 less assists. He's got more steals and slightly less blocks. Now, last year, Jokic won the MVP, and the Denver Nuggets finished as the 6th seed in the NBA. Right now,
That's crazy.
Dallas would be the 6th seed, but I think personally they're going to climb maybe to the 5, maybe to the 4, maybe even to the 3. Now, Jokic last season averaged 27, 14, and 8. Now, the 14 rebounds is great, but I think personally 33, 9, and 8 is a better stat line than 27, 14, and 8, particularly when you take into account the field goal percentages. 51 to 58% Jokic wins. Jokic last year was 34% from 3. Doncic is 35% this year. Doncic is 73% from free throw. Jokic is 81. So there isn't that much difference between the field goal percentages. So I think that based on the storylines, the NBA is switching up the story every year to give Jokic the MVP. Last year it was, he didn't have anyone else to play with. He didn't have Jamal, he didn't have Michael. He still led them to the 6th seed. This year it's, he has those guys and look how good he's doing. But I want to hear from you guys. Why do you think that the NBA is pushing this narrative? And do you think that what I'm saying is right? Like, what are your thoughts about the whole thing with Doncic this year? Because I don't think he's going to win MVP now, but he has Kyrie Irving because he has some help. But earlier this year, I'd take last year's Denver roster over this year's Dallas Mavericks roster. So I want to get your thoughts on that, whoever wants to speak out of the two of you.
T-Man.
Look, honestly, just looking at it, I feel like each new MVP just sets a new benchmark of like what's expected now. Like all these great numbers, but I guess it just comes down to winning now. Like it's just showing Jokic is still producing the same sort of like stat line, but now he's obviously winning. But I don't know. It's really interesting. Although I do like Doncic, like his stat line, but to me I just think it's all about who's winning now. Like you look at the top 4, first, second, third, first, and then she goes to Doncic at 6th. So I don't know.
Yeah, look, I don't know. Personally, I think that Jokic, I mean, you do raise a good point, the fact that he is winning now. But I still think it's not really fair to say, he's the most valuable player because he doesn't have his teammates. But then he's like, now he has his teammates, but he's still the most valuable player. I don't see how you can have it both ways. Personally, I look at someone like Giannis, who's averaging 32, 12, and 5, and he hasn't had Chris Middleton for basically the whole season. That's his second best player. That was a player that in the finals hit big shot after big shot after big shot. Okay? Obviously, technically, Drew Holiday's an all-star, which I think we can all agree was also a bit of lunacy. He shouldn't have been an all-star when you look at other point guards in the Eastern Conference who were all-star candidates. And I think that he's been playing without his second best player. So for me personally, I just don't really see how it adds up. And if I was to give someone the MVP, I think it would be Giannis, who has an equally as good record as Jokic. He's averaging 8 more points and more rebounds. Obviously, he's lacking in the assists. He's better defensively than Jokic. And I don't see why it should even be a contest, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that I think it's like the criteria changes every year of what the MVP should be. You know, is it how many points they score? Is it the all round numbers, or is it how efficient someone is, or is it the record that they have and the good numbers? It changes every year because you look at previous MVPs. You know, Russell Westbrook. They were about the sixth seed when he won it. I know he averaged a triple double and it was history
Yeah.
making and all that, but
Yeah,
they were in the sixth
that was
seed.
6 years ago. He's done that for 3 years after that, and no one seems to care that he's
Yeah,
done it now. So
yeah,
why
and no
shouldn't
one
we
cared
matter
about
now
that.
that Jokic is doing the triple double thing all over
Well,
again?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The criteria changes every
Yeah,
year, and there's no set in stone rules of what the MVP should look like each year. Which I don't know if that's how it should be. I don't know if they should make it a bit like what. I don't know. I don't know what they can do about that because it's a vote. But yeah, I don't know. It's a hard thing to judge
yeah,
of what they can actually do.
yeah. It is a hard thing to judge, but I think that when you look back at it, I think there is a bit of the narrative that, from the outside perspective, that people are getting tired of Jokic winning the MVP. But personally, I just don't like how they're shifting the goalposts to suit him. But we will see how the MVP race progresses because we do still have a fair few games to go, and I wouldn't say anything is set in stone quite yet. Now, for the rest of the NBA, there is still a fair bit of basketball to play, guys. We have around 21 to 23 games on average left between all 30 teams, or 30 teams in the NBA, my bad there. From the Western Conference, the race is very tight. From the 3 seed to the 10 seed, there is a 4-game difference. Now, the Eastern Conference, bit of a different story. The top 6 teams seem to be sort of set in stone. 7 to 10 seeds are also 4 games difference. The 5 and 6 are floating around a bit, but that top 4 of Milwaukee, Boston, Cleveland, and Philadelphia seem to be set in. Now, we saw last night, Tyson, your Lakers came up with a big win, while the other teams in the West, we had the Grizzlies lose, the Trailblazers lose, the Thunder lose, the Pelicans lose. You know, all teams that are in front of the Lakers. We have the Kings and the Clippers playing tonight. One of those 2 teams is going to lose. Dallas managed.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
So I want to know, Oscar, I'm going to ask you first. What teams do you see rising in the standings? And on the other side, what teams do you think will fall in the standings in this last stretch before the playoffs?
I know it goes against what I said a couple episodes ago, but I think looking at these Lakers, they're playing pretty good basketball. So I think they're going to rise. How many games?
A little bit. They should rise just enough, you know.
They'll rise up into maybe the playoffs.
The 6th seed.
Maybe the 8th.
The 6th seed.
No, maybe the 8th. Maybe the 8th seed.
Oh, the 8th.
I was going to say 8, but you said 6. The
play-in.
No, that's crazy. I'll make the play-in, but it used to be the playoffs. I think Golden State. I hope they rise, man. I hope they rise. I see Utah dropping.
Yeah.
I see Phoenix rising. I think Phoenix is going to rise when KD comes back, rising all the way to maybe the 3rd. They'll get up to the 3rd. I don't think they're going to take down the top 2. And in the East, I see Philly rising. I see Brooklyn dropping horrendously.
You see Philly rising to where? Where are they going to rise to? They're already at the 3 seed now. They're 2 games back at the 2 seed.
I reckon they'll get to the 2 seed.
Really? I'm
calling it now.
I think
they're playing good basketball.
They're playing mouthful, but
well, they just beat Memphis. They just beat Memphis.
I don't really rate Memphis as team that much.
They're playing good. The Memphis are playing great. What do you mean?
What have Memphis done? Memphis are 4 and 6 in their last 10. What are they doing right now?
Yeah, I don't.
They're 11 of 18. They're 11 of 18 on the road. What have they haven't been a good road team all year?
Can I just say I hate Dylan Brooks? I hate that guy so much.
I hate him too.
I hate him, but he just started fighting with Joel Embiid and James Harden for no reason at all. Anyway, no, I think Philly will rise to the 2nd. I got them rising. And then I see Brooklyn dropping horrendously. And I see the Bulls dropping. I see the Bulls dropping out of the playoffs.
Well, the Bulls are already out of the playoffs, so I don't really know how much
Well,
more they can drop.
I see them drop. I see them dropping below Indiana.
Below the 11 seed because they're not even in the play-in right now. So
Because Pat Bev's a game changer though. He's quite good.
Well, he's balling out today, but they're smoking Brooklyn today. I was watching the game. They're smoking Brooklyn, 76-35. So maybe I'm wrong about that, but
yeah. Listen, Brooklyn are 6 games clear of the play-in. So if they would have to drop 6 games to get out of the playoff picture altogether. Now, I don't think Brooklyn are the best team in the NBA, but I don't think they're going to drop out of the play-in. I don't know. Tyson, what do you think? How far do you think they'll tumble?
I don't think they'll tumble that far, to be honest. I reckon today's just a bad game. But it's an off game. It's an off game. Everyone has bad games. We're going to expect more Mikal Bridges to drop at least 40, 45 again, maybe. Like I'm expecting some big numbers from Mikal.
Cam Thomas as well, dropping another 40.
Cam Thomas as well.
I need
too many 40-point scorers.
Yeah, look, listen.
You do.
I don't have as many teams as you guys. I think the standings are going to stay pretty fluid for the most part.
How many games are left?
On average, around 21 to 23 per team. So in between that number. But
I reckon there'll be a bit of movement.
There'll be a bit of movement. The Lakers, I don't know. I see them rising, but LeBron's health is questionable right now. Anthony Davis' health is questionable right now. And they're a team built for the playoffs, but making the playoffs is the question here. So I'm worried that they're going to run out of juice just trying to make the playoffs. But personally, I don't think the Nuggets are very threatening to many people as the 1 seed. If I'm being brutally honest.
Hell no.
Since they had that run in the bubble, and since then, I mean, there's been injuries, but no one's really taken them seriously. You know? That's what I mean. No one's really been taking them seriously, and I'm not really going to take them seriously until I have a reason to otherwise. I think when we saw the Utah Jazz get to the 1 seed a couple of years ago, I think it's a similar sort of story. And I think in the NBA, guys, there's some teams that are built to win games in the regular season, and there's some teams that are built to win championships and to win games in the playoffs. I don't think Denver's that type of team. Do I think the Lakers can knock them off if they get into a first-round series? If LeBron and AD are healthy, I give them a very good chance, actually.
I'm Lakers hater, but I like what they've been doing. You know, they've been resting their guys. They've been playing the whole entire bloody squad.
But we need Lonnie Walker to play more. He's coming off.
But they played the whole squad like above 5 minutes. So they're resting their guys a bit. They're low management on LeBron only played 26 minutes. Anthony Davis played 25. So. I like what they're doing with their team playing the whole squad.
We've actually got enough for a whole squad now.
Yeah. Because before you had absolute bums playing. So I like what they're doing. Usually I don't like chatting up the Lakers because they're so arrogant to the fans, like this one over here. But I like what they're doing.
Very good team.
Yeah, listen, I just don't trust them in the playoffs being healthy. We saw a couple of years ago where they were the 7 seed and they versus the Suns, and everyone was just like, "Oh yeah, it's the Lakers. They're built for the playoffs. They'll just steamroll the Suns." And what happened? They got absolutely blasted. Again, what happened in that series? AD went out with an injury. So the Lakers are going to need to be fully healthy if they want to go on a run. LeBron isn't just going to be able to carry the team with everyone injured. And that's just that. But who do I see rising? Like you guys touched on, the Phoenix Suns are definitely going to rise. I think we can all agree on that. Now, how far do they rise? I look at a team like the Sacramento Kings. I look at the team that they are. I think that they're young. I think they have a lot of high energy. But I think that as the season progresses, I think they're going to start getting the playoff jitters. This is a team that hasn't been in the playoffs since 2001. That's the longest active streak in the NBA Obviously, they're going to probably
Mention the Clippers.
they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think the Clippers are going to fall. I think the Clippers are going to sit pretty at the 4 seed, and I think they're going to stay at the 4 seed. I think right now. Sorry?
Sacramento's dropping to the 5th.
I think Sacramento could drop as far as to the 6th, personally. Look at who's at the 6th seed right now. They're only 2.5 games behind Dallas. That's not a lot. That's pretty close. That's a 3-game swing. That's 3 games lost for the Kings. If the Clippers beat them tonight, that's 1 right there. So I'm looking at this 3-6 battle as a very closely contested battle. I don't think anyone's safe from 3-6. Now, in saying that, the Clippers could have an absolute nightmare adding Russell Westbrook, and they could fall as far to the 8th seed. Who knows? But I don't think they will. I think that they know what they're doing. I think the Kings are going to drop. I think they're going to probably fall into the 6th seed, and they'll have a matchup with those Suns. I think Mavericks will slide up to 5. I think the Clippers will stay at 4, and the Suns will get all the way up to 3. That is just
You're
my
a Sacramento
opinion.
hater.
I'm not a Sacramento hater. I just think
They are such a well-built team. It's ridiculous. They are such a well-built team.
They are a well-built
Maybe-
team, but I
maybe
just
the
think that
best
young
built
teams
team
who
in
are
the league.
inexperienced. That is absolutely ridiculous. They are not the best built team in the league. How could you possibly say that?
Yeah, well, because they're playing. Look at that team. You would not think they're the 3-seed team, and look at them. They're playing beautiful basketball.
Yeah,
Beautiful
I
basketball.
understand that, but they're just like a Cleveland
You don't watch
Cavaliers
enough Sacramento
2.0 for
basketball.
me. No, I watch plenty of Sacramento basketball, okay? They're a Cleveland Cavaliers 2.0. They're cool. They got De'Aaron Fox, who's a smooth operator, but deep down, even if they do stay at the 3 seed, if they stay at the 3 seed, if I'm the Clippers, the Suns, or the Mavericks, I'm doing my damnedest to get to that 6 seed because I think everyone would want to take Sacramento in a playoff series. A team that hasn't been there in however many years. We saw a team like the Knicks a couple years ago who haven't made the playoffs for the last 8 years until they did. They made the 4 seed, and everyone was so hyped for them. And then Trae Young whitewashed them in 5 games. So we've seen young teams who haven't been in the playoffs for a long time go in and not perform. Even the Grizzlies underperformed, but we saw the Warriors. We understand that. But we've seen young teams underperform. So personally, I think that as the season goes on, the Kings will drop. Now, we'll get into our playoff matchups in a second, potentially, but you guys also touched on it. I think the Nets are going to fall. I think Miami is going to rise. New York, I don't trust them. I think they're probably going to stay where they are. I think Miami is one of those teams that are built for the playoffs. Now, do I see them getting in the conference finals? No, I don't see them getting in the conference finals. But do I see them making a playoff push? Jimmy Buckets is that guy. Miami, they were missed game winner away from making the NBA Finals last year. I think a lot of people actually forget that. It came right down to the wire, and they nearly made the finals. So I expect them to make a playoff push. I expect Miami probably to get up to the 5 seed, and I think they can beat Cleveland in the first round series. I'm going to say that right now. I think if Miami versus the Cavaliers, I think they can have Cleveland. I don't trust Cleveland in the playoffs at all.
You got some trust issues, bro.
I do have trust issues. That's very true.
I don't trust New York. I don't trust Cleveland. I don't trust Brooklyn.
I don't trust.
I don't. There are very few teams that I trust. And I think when push comes to shove, there's only really 3 or 4 teams each year that can actually win the championship. When you look at it, people throw out all these cool, flashy names like the Cavs. They've got a really good young core. What's Donovan Mitchell done in the playoffs? Nothing. He's got to the second round once. And Terrence Mann dropped 40 points on him in a game 6. And that's what happened to Donovan Mitchell. So, realistically,
Terrence Mann like he's doing something.
I'm just saying that's what happened.
That's Terrence Mann like that.
Oscar, I'm just telling you what happened, okay? Facts of the matter is, that's what happened. Terrence Mann dropped 40 on him in a game 6 of the second round. So, I don't trust the Cavaliers come to playoff time. Quite frankly, I don't trust Philadelphia either. I think the East is a 2-horse race between Boston and Milwaukee.
You're a hater. You are the biggest Philly hater.
I just have to say it.
The basketball Philadelphia are playing is so good.
Listen, we're going to get into some potential playoff matchups, okay? Now,
Embiid's just different
from you. We're going to talk about a few matchups. First matchup I want to talk about right now, how I would see it. and I think how a lot of people would see it, Clippers at the 4 seed, Mavericks at the 5 seed, or vice versa. I'm not ruling it out. It could be the Mavericks at the 4 seed and the Clippers at the 5 seed. Either
What about the
way,
Clippers at the 7th?
no chance. I think these two teams are destined to play each other in the playoffs. Now, the Clippers are 2-0 against Dallas in the playoffs. Obviously, Doncic was a one-man band for the most part. He has Kyrie Irving now. I want to know from you guys, who do you think wins in a first-round series against these two teams? How many games do you think it goes? What are your thoughts? Tyson, I'm going to ask you first. Kawhi and PG versus Doncic and Kyrie. Who takes out a potential playoff series in this matchup?
Man, wow, it's a better matchup now that Doncic has help, you know?
He does.
But also Clippers have a noticeably better point guard now. And I'd say it's I don't know, it's really interesting. I hate to say it, but like I gotta go with the Clippers on this one, if I'm being honest.
How many games? Do you think it goes 7? Do you think it goes 6? You think what do you think it goes? 5, 4? I mean, I wouldn't rule out a sweep.
No, it'll be 6 or 7, but I feel like probably 6. I just feel like the Clippers will just pick up momentum. To be honest, I don't know. I just think the Mavs are. I don't know. They're just in shambles, in my opinion. I don't know.
Personally, I think that's a very wise take, but I want to hear what Oscar has to say about this series. I think he disagrees, but I want to know how much he disagrees and how much in his heart he thinks the Mavericks should beat the Clippers in a playoff series. So, Oscar, the floor is yours.
Well, I don't even think the Clippers are even going to be there in that position in the first place. But anyway, say that they are. I think the Mavericks will win in 6.
Okay.
I think they'll drop 2 games, 2 home games, and I think they'll win in 6. I feel like it's just too much firepower. I know they got defensive players, but Paul George has 11 minutes of game winners hit on him. Like, I feel like it's just there's just too much firepower.
Not many of those have been in the playoffs.
I just think that Kawhi is fantastic, but he's not playing. He's not playing like finals Kawhi that he did in Toronto.
Not right now.
I feel. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I feel like it's too much firepower. I think Luka and what's his name, Kyrie is just too much. It's going to be too much for him.
Listen,
they're lacking a big man, obviously, but I feel like the Dallas has got it. I feel this is their year.
This is their year. Listen, I think personally, for you to think that Kyrie Irving's just going to come into the Dallas Mavericks and ramrod their way through the West, even if they beat the Clippers, as opposed to a team that has been together for several years now, I just don't see it happening. Now, let me just give you some quick numbers, okay?
For all those years.
Let me give you some quick numbers. 38 and 4, 27, 10, and 5. Okay? Those were the playoff stats of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George in the 2021 playoffs. Now, do I think they can replicate that? Yes. 100%. I think they can replicate it. Now, the real question becomes for the Clippers, and I want to get your thoughts on this. I think you both have some very good opinions, especially you, Tyson, watching a lot of Lakers basketball, so I think you can speak to a lot of this. What impact, positive or negative, does Russell Westbrook have on the Clippers? That is the biggest factor that comes into it. Because personally, I've seen Russell Westbrook and Paul George have some pretty rough playoff games playing together in Oklahoma City. And that's something that scares me. Not only as a fan of the Clippers, but also just objectively looking at this team who they have championship aspirations, okay? That's something that scares me looking at this team. Now, I think that the Clippers going out and getting Russell Westbrook, I think they did it very strategically. I think that they are a team that knows what they need, knows what they want, and I don't think they're going to let Russ get a big head. Personally, I think they're going to sit him down, and I think that they're going to find a way to make it work. Now, do I think he's going to play in the crunch time of playoff games? I damn hope he doesn't. Because all I know is when he played with the Lakers, there were a lot of times this year when Russell Westbrook said, "Oh no, LeBron, it's all good. I'll take this shot in the last 10 seconds. Oh no, I'll take this shot in overtime." And that is something that scares me. So I think it could go both ways. But Oscar, I want to ask you, do you think Westbrook can just blow the Clippers up, or do you think he can have some sort of positive impact?
First of all, Luca, you were the biggest flip flapper because you were shaking in your boots that the Clippers would even pick up Russell Westbrook. You were talking about this all these point guards that you can get. Mate, you were shaking in your boots, and now you're saying, "Oh, he's going to be good for the Clippers. He's going to be good for the Clippers. He's going to put some good minutes up." You were shaking in your boots that he would come to your squad.
No. That's not true. Okay, I was looking at other possibilities that I would much rather have than Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I think Russell Westbrook presents some problems, but I think he could present some benefits to the Clippers as a team.
I think he can. Obviously, I just don't think he should start. I think Russell should be on the bench unit. Shouldn't be on in clutch time. Just through those minutes, he can take up big minutes in the middle of the games and score some good buckets off the bench and support those other guys. But I think he should come off the bench still. We saw in the Lakers him starting wasn't great. So
we'll see how it works out. Hopefully the chemistry meshes. But we'll get into another playoff series that interests me before we finish. And this is something we could disagree on, but right now, Milwaukee and Philadelphia seem to be on a collision course to meet in the second round. And personally, I think this would be my series of the playoffs, probably, if these two were to meet. But
that'd be sick.
And they're yet to meet in the playoffs. Giannis and Embiid haven't actually met in the playoffs before, so it would be a great series. But Oscar, I'll ask you first. You seem to be very high on the 76ers. Do you think they can take down Milwaukee in a 7-game playoff series?
I do. I do. I think it would be so. I hope it's a 7-game series because that would be sick. I think it will be a 7-game series, and I think it obviously can go either way. Giannis is a freak. Drew Holiday, has the ability to lock up James Harden, but the way Philly are playing, I think they'll take in 7. They are playing really I know Milwaukee are playing good, fantastic basketball, but they both are. But I think Philly's just got the edge with Embiid being able to just turn to a different level, than anyone in the NBA today. Just turn up a gear and drop that 30 point 20 rebound game that And James Harden as well, just hitting some big shots these days. So I think they're going to win in 7. I hope they win in 7. I hope it's a 7-game series because that'll be really fun to watch.
Yeah, Tyson, who do you think takes out a series between the Bucks and the 76ers?
The Bucks.
Do I think Philly can? Yes. Will they? No.
The Bucks.
Thank you. Continue. Go on, Tyson. Preach.
The Bucks, for sure, it will be a 7-game series.
I'm coming on the next episode.
I can wait.
And
it will be a 7-game series without a doubt. It will be very close. But Giannis he can also switch up. He can turn into a beast in the playoffs. We've seen it before. He's a whole different animal. He can just control the game himself and really shut down the soft-centered Embiid. So yeah, and Chris, I don't know about Chris Middleton, but they're still winning games without him, playing to his best ability. So,
can I just say this?
Listen, can you believe Joel Embiid's never been to a conference finals?
Yeah.
I think
that's crazy that you're talking about one player and the whole Clippers franchise has been there once. Shut up. Shut up about Embiid.
Let's talk objectively, all right? Joel Embiid's never been to a conference finals. What has Giannis Antetokounmpo done? He has won a finals MVP. He has won a defensive player of the year. He has won back-to-back MVPs, okay? This guy is an absolute machine in the playoffs, and I think that if Chris Middleton was healthy, they would have knocked off the Celtics last year in the second round, and they would have went to the NBA Finals. But obviously that didn't.
Sucks now.
Obviously that didn't happen. No, he does not suck. Okay, that is absolutely blasphemy that he sucks. He's played barely any games this season. They're gearing him up. They're going to give him time. All right. What has Embiid done in the playoffs? Absolute squat. The best thing Embiid is known for in the playoffs is that game when Kawhi Leonard hit on him in 2019. Okay? Apart from that, no one even knows anything Joel Embiid's done in the playoffs because every year he's either injured, he's got a thumb injury, his stomach hurts, his you-know-what hurts, his head hurts.
It's not his fault Ben Simmons can't hit free throws.
Oh, well, hey, they had James Harden last year, and what did they do? They did absolutely nothing last year. They just gave up to Miami and said, hey, Jimmy, you can go to the conference finals. We don't even really want to try. James Harden didn't take a single field goal attempt in the second half of an elimination game.
James Harden has stepped up. James Harden has stepped up this year.
When? When has James Harden stepped up in the playoffs? Answer that question. When? When has he stepped up in the playoffs? When?
This year, he's playing.
So we haven't had the playoffs this year
behind Embiid. No, this year in the regular season, he's playing the best he's ever had.
Okay. No, he's won an MVP before. And what did he do in the playoffs? He tried to the conference finals.
But he's been there. You know, you're just hating.
No, not really.
You're hating on this team. You're hating on this team, and I'm gonna come back on this show, and after they've won, and things are gonna be said. It's gonna be words said.
The other thing you guys have is the head coach that is renowned as the biggest choker amongst all head coaches in Mr. Doc Rivers, who's blown 3-1 leads more than any head coach in NBA history. And personally, I don't trust him in the playoffs either. So I don't think Philadelphia's got a ship that's ready to ride. They look cool. I will admit, they're playing great basketball right now. But is it going to work in the playoffs? No, it's not going to work. We can get into this on our next episode coming out next week because we are out of time, unfortunately. Giannis is injured right now with a wrist sprain, but if there's one thing I know...
He played today. He played 6 minutes. I think he might have got injured again.
Look, I think they just got to let it go with Giannis. And maybe if Giannis is injured, Oscar, you might be right. Philly could climb to the 2 seed. We'll see how it goes. But it will definitely be a playoff series to watch. I hope that Milwaukee stays healthy. Otherwise, the Boston Celtics will have a free run to the NBA Finals. But we can get into that another time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on episode 22 of Priceless Takes. We will be back with Oscar and Tyson on our next episode. Stay tuned. Let's go see how these Clippers do with Russell Westbrook, guys. I'm excited. I think that there's some potential that's going to happen here. We'll see how it goes. We will get live updates from myself, and we will let you know. But make sure to keep following us on social media. We appreciate the engagement. We will be back now once a week, maybe twice if some big news happens. But, guys, thank you for joining me. I appreciate the insight, and we will see you all soon. I'm your host, Luca Price. Thank you for joining us.